Over the last few years, there has been a lot of research on the rise of mental health issues among teenagers. But the research also reports that this mental health crisis becomes even worse during the holidays. Welcome to Youthology and another topic on youth development. Listen, driven by the technological age, social media, the breakup of the family, the division in government and politics, and this global pandemic that we just got finished with, poor mental health in teenagers is rising. In what should be the best days of a teenager's life, the teen years are becoming an adolescent nightmare. And this month, we are going to do something about it. We are going to talk about mental health and total wellness around the holidays, a topic we have covered many times with our other resources here on the site.
With this rise in poor teen mental health over the last few years, statistics have proven to us an alarming increase in the poor mental health during the holiday season. The holidays may not be joy to the world and the most wonderful time of the year after all, at least for teenagers and some adults.
Right.
You would think that Christmas and the holiday season would be a joyful time of the year, but all of the statistics prove just the opposite.
Yeah, that's true, and we're going to get into some of that right now. In a recent American Psychological Association article, APA, it was reported that 38% of people surveyed said their stress increased. Get that, increased during the holiday season. The article also stated this depression can lead to physical illness, anxiety, substance abuse. I'm going to cover some other things too amongst teenagers. Also, the reasons given for this increased depression is a lack of time, financial pressure, gift giving, and then family gatherings. The National Association in Mental Health, Mental Illness also found that 64% of people agree that the holiday season brings increased depression. Finally, according to a study by the World Health Organization and Allstate, listen to this, students feel uncertain, nervous, and stressed about the school situation in America. And 5 years ago, mental health facilities were populated with only 19% adolescents. Today, that number is almost 40%. Suicide is now the third leading cause of death amongst teenagers when it used to be fifth or sixth on the list just 5 years ago.
So sad. Now, we live in America, so you would think that would be a big blessing. Certainly, we live in the most blessed and free country in the world. And furthermore, this Christmas and holiday season is normally looked upon as merry and bright and joy to the world, like we said. But there's no school, there's a lot of shopping at the mall, Secret Santa, there's Christmas parties every week for a month, there's glitter everywhere. Nonetheless, we must do something about the adolescent mental health situation we are in. The depression, anxiety, isolation, ultimately suicide must become a focus of next-gen leadership. And this holiday season is the perfect time to do something about it. Really, we can all do something about it.
Yeah. When you look at the causes of this crisis, you have to include, when we talk about increased anxiety and depression during the holidays, we have to include this discussion on where does it come from, right? Where is this societal anxiety? Here are 10, okay? I'm just going to give them to you quick. We can't break these down. But number one, the youth of the 21st century have been born into terror. Number two, they know the financial disaster of the economy. Number three, youth have witnessed the breakup of the redefinition of the family. Number four, a global health pandemic isolated, really globally, not just even here. Number five, the change of youth in our community and their community relationships. Number six, youth have been raised in a national setting of governmental division. Number seven, a lack of media censorship and control has demoralized our nation. Number eight, teenagers and young adults have been immersed in an unrealistic comparison environment of social media. Number 9, an unprecedented sexual revolution that has crashed on the shores of America. And finally, the youth of today have lost that moral center of their theological faith that guides their worldview and ultimately even their lifestyle.
That list brings me to tears.
I know all of the things that they're dealing with.
Wow. There are many other causes to poor mental health. It could be a chemical imbalance, family mental health history, or PTSD that causes mental health issues in teenagers. Whatever the cause of poor mental health, the reality is that we have seen a rise in depression and ultimately suicide in the Gen Z set.
Right.
So let's look at some solutions for the
Yeah.
mental health issues.
Yeah.
Let's look at those together. It could
Yeah.
be as simple as total personal wellness, or as exhaustive as clinical counseling or admission to a mental health facility.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't even like to talk about that. But yeah.
No, but it's very needed,
Very
and we need to take that stigma out. It's very okay. Most of us have some sort of mental health issue, honestly.
Yes.
So whatever it takes, there's no shame in working on your mental health.
No, that's
and we
good.
need to teach that to teenagers. There's no
Yes.
shame.
Yes, is something as simple as mental health issues could spring out of the things that we mentioned, a stressful society, the physiology of a person, right? So let's focus upon some practical helps for young people to counter the poor mental health and depression right now in this generation. We're going to give you 4. First, general physical wellness. We must make this more important. The wellness of our teenagers. Life disciplines such as eating, exercise, sleep, walking outdoors, how to manage their own relationships, social relationships. That is all part of total health and wellness. A complete health and wellness regime contributes to balanced physiology and ultimately positive mental health. Total health and wellness could be physiological, relational, spiritual, and by taking care of the physical bodies, right, of teenagers. If we could help with that, that spiritual formation could combat all of the things that we just talked about.
I know for me personally, I go on more runs during the holiday season because that helps me.
Right.
But secondly, the family. We're not just raising a fatherless generation anymore. We're raising a fatherless, a motherless, a siblingless generation that has been separated by distance, technology, busyness, or the breakup of their family. The family structure has been disintegrated in our country. And when the home is broken, society is broken.
Yeah, that's
That
good.
child was born into a broken situation. The home could be the place where we stop poor mental health.
Yes.
Practical ideas like creating family dinners, having game nights, family
Yes.
recreation, and during Christmas time, allowing children to have sleepovers in the absence of school, or going to see Christmas lights or a Christmas show. There's so many things in your
You love
area.
that
Just
stuff.
Google it and you can go do lots of things.
Right.
The holidays are a perfect time to create a safe place like home, and it will shape teenagers. It'll shape a better mental
Yes.
health and the most important surrounding of their life.
I know that's a passion of yours, and we're going to have more lists coming out the next few weeks. Third, emotional intelligence. A positive outlook is a powerful outcome. Changing our thought patterns will change our language, which changes our behavior. EI creates better self-awareness and respect for others. It puts an end to the negative talk and helps teenagers do critical thinking instead of thinking critical. I love that thought. We have promoted AI over EI, and that is a dangerous highlight in a generation. Why? Because then we lose our own ability to think, and rather than having others think for us. EI is developed by practicing a mindset of resilience, optimism, resolution, and through healthy accountability family relationships. Emotional intelligence is consistent with parental guidance. Conversations in the home are so needed to bring emotional health.
Fourth, the Sabbath, rest. Honestly, I'm not good at this one. But with America and their busyness and the production, we need to slow teens down, slow
Yes.
our family down. having a night off. Like we just like to
Yes.
say, turn off your phones. We're just gonna connect. We play a game. Jeff doesn't really like games, but I try to get him to play a game, watch a movie, do something
Yes.
to engage them, but to be off of our phones,
Yes.
stress relief. We don't have to
Yes.
always be going to events and doing activities. Those are fun, and I think they're needed, but there needs to be a balance.
Yes.
The regeneration that takes place by having bedtimes that are consistent is a
yeah.
simple way to affect the mental health of our children. Respecting the Sabbath is transformative to total health.
It is. Rest. Sometimes rest is more spiritual than we think. Listen, finally, if we're going to combat the rising mental health issues in this generation, we must apply these principles, simple principles, to arrest the epidemic of depression and suicide happening all around us. These family practices will create a great change in the mental health of our youth, the home, and ultimately our youth, in what should be the greatest days of a teenager's life. These statistics are turning these days into an adolescent nightmare. And so a thorough application of these practices will turn the tide of mental health that has crashed on the shores of our nation's youth. The family has a lot to do with it, right? Listen, we're going to give you more resources the next few weeks. You can get immediate help. If you need it right now, you can get immediate help at our website. Next week, we'll be announcing some counseling and some family disciplines that we're going to put into place from Youthology, and some opportunities for you to have resource for immediate counseling, coaching, and care too.